Have you ever felt like the whole world turned against you and then, slowly, one day, they started clapping again? Kinda strange, right? But that's exactly what happened to Johnny Depp. I mean, let's go back a bit. There was a time when Johnny was one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. Everyone knew him. Pirates of the Caribbean, Edward Scissorhands, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, he was everywhere. Big movies, big roles, big fan base, and then, boom! Suddenly, everything flipped. He wasn't on screens, he wasn't on red carpets. It's like he disappeared. And if you've ever had a moment in your life where everything felt upside down, where people started looking at you differently, or maybe even walking away, then you'll probably understand what he went through. This isn't just a celebrity story. It's about falling, about being misunderstood, about staying quiet when people are loud, and then slowly finding your way back. Johnny Depp's story is full of messy chapters, unexpected turns, and small victories that most people missed. But today we're going to go through it all, step by step. You ready? Let's talk about what really happened. Let's start with how everything came crashing down. At one point Johnny was living the dream. Fame, fortune, fans. But then, things in his personal life started to spill out in public. Lawsuits, headlines, accusations. It was all over the internet. Suddenly, people weren't talking about his movies. They were talking about him. And not in a good way. Brands dropped him. Studios cut ties. Even his most iconic role, Jack Sparrow, was taken away. Just like that. You know what that feels like? Imagine building your whole life around something, putting your heart into it. And then, one day, people start treating you like you're the villain in your own story. And you're like, wait, how did this happen? That's exactly where Johnny found himself. And then, things got quiet. Not the kind of quiet where things are peaceful, more like the kind where people stop calling, stop offering chances, stop trusting you. He wasn't getting new roles, no press events, no big movie deals. The spotlight he'd lived under for decades suddenly went dark. And the silence. That's what hurts the most. It's not always the hate or the criticism. It's the absence, the stillness, when even your fans aren't sure anymore. But Johnny didn't try to shout louder. He didn't go on shows or post long explanations. He just stepped back and waited. And honestly, that takes guts. A lot of people, when they feel attacked or misunderstood, they panic. They want to fix things fast. But Johnny, he let time do the talking. Then came the court case. And let me tell you, it was nothing like the movies. No rehearsals, no script, just raw emotion. Two people in a courtroom, telling very different stories, and the world, watching every second. But Johnny didn't act like the charming, fast-talking star everyone remembered. He was calm, careful, sometimes even funny in that weird, unexpected Johnny Depp way. Remember the whole muffin moment? Yeah, it was awkward and kind of funny, but it also showed how strange and surreal the whole thing had become. He wasn't there to put on a show. He just wanted people to hear his side. And slowly they did. Bit by bit people started to listen. Not to the gossip, not to the headlines, but to him. And when the verdict came out, it was like someone flipped a switch. Suddenly the same internet that had dragged him just years before was cheering him on. Sharing clips, making fan edits, calling it the greatest comeback of all time. And honestly, it kind of was. But here's where things got interesting. He didn't go back to Hollywood with a victory speech. No flashy roles. No, I told you so, interviews. He went to Europe, picked up his guitar, started painting again, toured with his band, reconnected with the parts of himself that weren't about fame. It's like he realized if he was going to come back, it had to be on his terms. And eventually, he did come back. Not as Jack Sparrow as Willy Wonka, but as King Louis XV and Jean du Barry. A quieter, more thoughtful role, a reminder that Johnny Depp, the actor, still had something to offer. And it was his way of saying, I'm still here. I never left. You just stopped seeing me. So what does all of this mean? Why does it matter? Well, there are a few things I think we can all take from Johnny's story. First, silence doesn't always mean weakness. Sometimes, stepping back is the strongest thing you can do. When the world is loud, and everyone wants you to explain or defend or react, choosing not to takes real strength. Second, public opinion is quick to flip. One minute you're the villain, the next you're the hero, and it's not always fair. But if your truth is real, it lasts. People eventually catch up. Third, your comeback doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need fireworks. It doesn't need applause. Sometimes, It just looks like you picking up a guitar, or painting in silence, or smiling quietly in a role that's not about proving anything. Because peace, that's the real win. Doug Stanhope, one of Johnny's longtime friends, said it best. He said Johnny's not chasing fame anymore. He's chasing peace. And honestly, isn't that what we all want? So let me ask you something. Have you ever had to rebuild? Not with cameras or headlines or courtrooms, but in your own way, quietly, carefully. After something fell apart, what did that look like for you? Because comeback stories, they're not just for movie stars, they're for all of us. And maybe you're in the middle of yours right now. And hey, if stories like this speak to you, even just a little, then you should definitely check out the one we did on Robert Downey Jr. Honestly, his journey is one of the most powerful things you'll ever hear. You probably know him as Iron Man, right? Confident, funny, super genius billionaire on screen. But before all that, his real life was nowhere near as shiny. He was struggling. I mean, really struggling. There were times when he was in and out of jail. He was battling addiction. And the industry, most of them had given up on him, just written him off completely. But he kept going. Even when the world turned its back on him, even when he hit rock bottom, he didn't stop trying. He messed up a lot, but he also got up a lot. That story, it's not about superheroes. It's about being human, messy, free. And the fact that he turned all of that pain into something powerful. That he went from almost losing it all to becoming one of the most iconic movie heroes of our time. That's something worth hearing. So if you liked this story about Johnny Depp, and if you felt something while listening, if even one part of this made you pause or nod your head or think about your own life, then trust me, you're going to love the one about Robert Downey Jr. Because here's the thing. These stories, they aren't just gossip. They're not just Hollywood drama or celebrity scandals. They're reminders. They remind us that even people who seem to have it all, the money, the fame, the fans, they still fall, they still break, they still get hurt, and they still find their way back, one step at a time. That's what makes them so powerful. It's not about the fame, it's about the fight. And that's what this channel is all about. It's not the glitz. It's not the headlines. It's the truth underneath it all, the human side. The part we all connect to deep down, even if our lives look totally different on the surface. Because maybe you're not an actor, maybe you've never been in a movie, or walked a red carpet, or been on magazine covers. But I bet, just like Johnny, just like Robert, you've had a moment when things went sideways. When the life you thought you were building just collapsed. When people doubted you, or worse, when you started doubting yourself. And that's the thread that connects us. That's why we tell these stories, not to glamorize but to humanize, to show you that even the biggest names in the world are still just people. People who cry, people who mess up, people who heal, people who grow. So if this video made you feel anything, hope, sadness, curiosity, even just a quiet kind of understanding, I'm glad you're here. And you know what would help more than anything? Just hit that like button. Seriously, it might seem small, but it tells us that this kind of storytelling matters to you, that you want more videos like this, that you see the heart behind the headlines. And if you feel like it, drop a comment. Tell me about a moment in your life where you had to come back from something. Or maybe you're still in the middle of it right now. That's okay too. Share your story. Or tell me about someone who inspires you. A person in your life who's faced the storm and kept walking. It could be a parent, a friend, a teacher, a stranger. Anyone. I read every single comment. I really do. And sometimes, your story, your words, end up helping someone else who's reading too. Because that's the beauty of real stories. They don't just connect us. They heal us. And hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We've got so much more coming. So many stories that haven't been told the way they should be. Stories about the moments behind the fame, about falling down, about getting up, about growing through what you go through. We'll talk about actors, yes, but also musicians, artists, creators, people who took the pain in their lives and turned it into something beautiful. Not overnight, not perfectly, but honestly, with heart. Because life isn't a movie. There are no perfect endings, no fast-forward buttons, but there is progress. There is healing, and there is a way back. Even when it feels like the world stopped believing in you. Even when it feels like you don't recognize yourself anymore. Even when the quiet gets heavy, There's still a way, and sometimes it's not loud, it's not dramatic, it's not announced with flashing lights or a spotlight. Sometimes, the most powerful return is the one that happens quietly, slowly, bit by bit, when no one's watching, when no one's cheering, when you're rebuilding from the inside out. That kind of comeback. That's the strongest one of all. So, wherever you are in your life right now, whether you're in the middle of your struggle, or maybe just starting to find your footing again, know this: you're not alone. Everyone falls. Everyone hurts. Everyone has moments they wish they could undo. But you don't have to undo the past to create something new. You just have to keep going. And if you need a place to feel seen, to feel understood, you're in the right place. We're building a community here. One story at a time. One truth at a time. One little moment of connection at a time. And you're a part of it. So stay with us. There's more coming, more stories, more real moments, more reminders that even in the darkest chapters, there's still something waiting on the next page. Thanks for being here, for listening, for caring, for believing in the power of second chances. Even if you've never said it out loud, this is more than just content. It's a conversation, and it doesn't end here. See you in the next video. Take care of yourself, alright? You matter. Your story matters. And whatever you're going through, it's not the end. It's just the middle. And the best stories, they always have a turning point. Talk soon. Thanks for watching. Talk soon.